And then I'm going to share my screen. And as usual, we're going to just go through a series of things. But it's a relaxed session. It's not intended to be super formal because I want you to feel that you can have some input into it. But essentially, I offered this to people who have done the embodied course initially to just do a little catch up on what's going on in the somatic world and to tell you where I'm going with some of the stuff that has happened. And then I've opened it up to some people who haven't worked with me before. So really warm welcome. This is a top-up session. I can't see all of you, so if you have a question, wave, and if I don't see you, maybe make a noise, but please do feel free to ask questions, although I'll have moments where I'll pause so that you can ask questions. So what we're doing today is we're going to have some somatic fun together first. Then I'm going to talk a bit about community, and it's the thing that I think has been missing with a lot of the work I've done. Then I'm going to address some of the criticisms of the polyvagal theory, which most of you know about, and how I'm going to take it forward as a result of the criticism. And then we're going to look at how our brain works with predictions, which is quite fun. And then you will probably have got the email that I gave with the printout, if you wanted to print out the sort of clock picture. And there was a tracker on there as well. And we're going to look at how our brain works with predictions, how we can plan well for a nervous system calming. And there'll be Q&A, but I will stop throughout for Q&A. Just because there are a couple of people who don't know me, my name is Perry May Britton. I am a somatic coach. I am not a trauma therapist. I am just helping you feel well in your body. When you feel well in your body, you can think more clearly in your brain, and that also improves relationships. So when your brain is clear, you can read faces, read the nuances in arguments and things like that much better. So those are some of the benefits of somatic coaching. Please don't let this replace any medical advice you've had. If your doctor has advised you not to do the things I'm offering to you, please don't do them. Listen to your doctor first. And if you have any injuries or problems, back injuries or neck injuries or whatever, and what I suggest doesn't work for you, please don't do it. You are the boss of your body. I am not the boss of it. Any questions before I crack on? Great. So we are going to do a fun little exercise. So what I want you to do, and feel free to turn your screen off, but I want you to do a movement or a pose that represents what your day or your week has been like. So it might be you go, oh, it's been angry, or, oh, I wish it would stop, or maybe you'll do some running and say, I've been moving very quickly, or whatever it is. It can be a facial expression. It can be a movement. It can be, I've been feeling stretched. Whatever comes to mind. It could be good things. It could be, I felt really excited, or whatever it is. So good, bad. I want you to just do a pose, a facial expression, or a movement that represents what today or this week has been like. And I want you to just kind of think about the position you're in or the movement that you're doing, and think about how you feel in that position. So you're just beginning to get your brain and your body to connect. And I want you to think about what it means to you to have experienced that kind of the body experience. before we do the next little part of this, does anyone want to share what they feel or what movement or shape they're in? Hi, Hilary. Hi, Jules. Does
I was
anyone?
spinning lots of plates, and I
Very
felt like I
good.
was worrying about where the next one was going to be
Okay.
spinning.
And how did you feel as you kind of made that movement and that sort of?
I think I was just remembering the stress of running around trying to do lots of things today.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else want to share? Jules.
I was yawning because
Hmm.
I'm just really tired. I've been tired all week. I haven't slept very well, so I just felt, just yawning.
And did doing the yawn make you feel more tired?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I was yawning all day yesterday. I never really stopped yawning. A
Okay.
little bit less yawning today. Yeah, it did make me. It made me feel tired just yawning. Well, because it's quite. It make me do it now, aren't I? Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
the
yawns are catching. We do know that.
Who
You
are
know, if you
they?
yawn, I want to yawn. Everyone will be yawning.
Oh, I'm so sorry to bring
No,
the
no,
whole
it's a
thing
good
down. I
one.
was gonna be asleep.
It's a
Sorry.
good one. Does anyone else want to? Esty.
Um, I've been just not feeling that great for some reason the last 2 days, and really needing to just push myself. And so I didn't know how to mimic it. So I thought, oh, I'll just stand like this and just make as if I'm walking really slowly, even though I was at my desk most of the day. And actually, felt quite releasing just to do like a slow step, almost like a rhythmic step.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
you've just put your finger on something brilliant. So sometimes we feel something, there's a lot going on in our lives. You feel really tired or you feel not very well. But because of, we just want to, try harder, work harder, be better, we don't let ourselves feel what's going on in our bodies. And so sometimes, not always, sometimes allowing yourself to just feel, allowing yourself, I've been yawning all day. I'm going to find a 10-minute window. I'm just going to let myself stop. Or I've been spinning plates all day. I'm going to actually acknowledge this is hard. This is full on. I'm not necessarily coping, or I'm just holding it together. You acknowledge what is going on, and sometimes actually acting it out, mimicking the emotion physically, can help you really connect with what is going on in your body. So well done. So the next step is, if was there anyone who had a good sort of movement, a positive, because those were all a little bit hard. So spinning, yawning, not feeling great. Did anyone have a best day ever? No. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so what I would say, if we were doing one-to-one work, I would say let's shake the day off. So shake off the tiredness, shake off the stress of the spinning. Esty, if you're really not feeling well, shaking might not be good for you, but if it's just a lethargic feeling, a little bit of shaking is actually quite good. So I feel I've been quite stretched this week with a whole lot of things that have been out of my control. And so again, I embrace the sensation of feeling stretched and a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure I can cope. And now I'm going to shake it off. Okay, so let's do that together. So you can stand if you want. It's nothing new. We've all done this together. Shake off the feeling. Don't hurt yourself if you've got an injury. Remember, when you're shaking off those sort of things, what you can do is you can let your hands be really floppy and like with getting rid of gloopy mud. So just shake it off like this. And just imagine the stress, the anxiety, the problems falling off you. I saw a brilliant talk once. This lady was talking about the labels that people put on us and the labels that we put on ourselves. You know, you're overweight, you're dumb, you're whatever. And it wasn't a somatic talk at all. And then we had to, she did it with post-it notes and she shook them off. So just imagine you're shaking off all the sort of labels of the week that haven't been good. And now I want you to just stop and just notice how you feel. Notice the physical sensations in your body. Notice what happens. So I just naturally did a sigh. It was actually quite a nice feeling. You might feel a bit of tingling. So my fingers feel a bit tingly. And then I want you to do, and some of you will have done this with me before, what's called a micro nod. So we're just going to do a tiny little nod. And we're just going to say yes to the good feelings. Yes to the sensation. Yes to getting rid of all the things that have been stuck on us so far this week. And then we're going to take it just a little bit further. So sometimes when we have very, very busy days or mentally stressful seasons, we can feel warped out of shape. So we can feel that we aren't our true selves. So the pressure means that we can't behave or talk or do the things that we would want to do. And I don't know if you've watched some of sort of more oriental practices where they do Tai Chi walking. It's a special way of walking, and it's very good for you and all of that. I don't really know how to do it or what it is. But what I do when I'm feeling out of shape is I stand up, and as I stand up, and we're going to do this, I choose to stand into who I am. So you're doing a physical movement to represent a mental decision. So my day I felt very stretched and sort of out of shape, or I've been spinning plates and not coping well, or overtired, or whatever it is, not sleeping well. So we're going to stand up into ourselves. As you stand, that's the decision you're going to make. And then I want you to imagine that you have a crown on your head. So I brought my little crown. And instead of Tai Chi walking, I want you to walk very slowly around your room, around the space that you're in, as if you had a crown on. So it's two things. We're standing up into who we are, and then we're just going to slowly walk. And you know, when you have a crown on your head, you can't walk fast and you can't look down. You just sort of have to sort of stand and look forward and to the sides and walk in a more regal way. So let's stand into our true selves. So it's very deliberate. Stand into your true self. And when you're ready, I want you to just walk slowly as if you have a crown on around your space. It's not fast, it's slow. When you're ready, I want you to sit back down as if you're still wearing your crown. And then I want you to do another pose, how you feel now. So You could still feel like you're spinning plates, and that would be fine. But you might feel free. You might feel calm. Maybe you feel, maybe your picture might be like this, might be the shape that you feel. You've got your crown on your head, or you feel relaxed, or whatever it is. Just do another little movement that represents how you feel now. Could just be sitting back, relaxing. And then I want you to do another little micro nod. And you're just saying, yes, this is who I am. Does anyone want to feed back on that funny little exercise?
It made me feel important.
Brilliant. I didn't see who that was. Was that Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me just watch. I just feel a lot more relaxed and just more centered.
Good. Good.
I think for me, it made me feel so much more peaceful.
I mean, again, as you know, nearly everything that I do with you somatically is kind of common sense. Like, there was nothing complicated or difficult in that little exercise. You can make up your own little version of that, you know, at different times of day. There's no real right or wrong. You don't have to do the whole thing. But, you know, if you are feeling misshapen in your day, it's sometimes good to stop, notice how you're feeling. So what is going on? Why am I so irritated by this? Or why am I struggling to solve this problem? Or why am I just so tired? Stop, notice what's going on in my body, what's going on in my brain. Is there anything you can do to respond? So quite often, the most common solution is fresh air and a glass of water. So it's not complicated. It's not complicated. Respond to what your body needs. Maybe do a psychological sigh. And then step back into your day, step back into what you're doing. And you will probably find that just by stepping out of the rush and the crush of all that's going on, you can then step back in as yourself, as opposed to this person walked out of shape. So I hope that was helpful, quite fun. Crown walking is what I call it. And I think it's a really good thing, although obviously in other countries they call it different things. But I think I'm naming it crown walking. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this question. So if we all know, so that was what, I don't know what the time is. That was probably 10 minutes or 8 minutes. If we know that in 8 minutes we can take our stressy day and bring it down to be more calm, why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? It's the most crazy thing. And, you know, I probably know more answers than you because this is what I study and I'm, you know, constantly learning. But even I don't do it. I let myself get into this state and I'm not practicing it all the time. I try, but I'm not practicing it all the time. And we know it releases tension in our bodies physically and emotionally. It releases anxiety. It calms our nervous system. It enhances our body awareness, which makes us feel better just right from the beginning, reduces pain, increases our resilience, our ability to cope with things, whether they're big or small things. And it's good for our overall health, physical and mental. And so I've been trying to ask this question, you know, I've been seeing a lot of you over a few years on and off. Most of you have done the embodied course, but I think, I was chatting to Claire, who's on this call, and a couple of others this morning, that one of the reasons we don't do it is because we don't meet regularly. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about is community. So I think one of the missing links with all the work I do has been a lack of community. So I'm going to propose two things. One is, and I've already created this, I don't know if it will work, and I'm not a big fan of social media, but I've created a Facebook group. And the idea is you join the group, and it's a public group, so you'll be able to see each other. But the idea is that it's not all about me posting. So if you're following me on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, I am posting quite regularly, but that's not necessarily very personal. But if we have this group, which I've called the Happiness Revolution, because even though I know happiness isn't the solution to everything, it's nice to feel happy. And when we feel happy, we can cope a lot better with a lot of things. Obviously, we're going after deep joy, and we can't be happy all the time. But I just think when there are more happy people around, life is much easier. And I thought, I'll create this. It's free and it's easy. But the idea is that if we all use it, we're helping each other. And the idea is that we share fun things we've done or hard things, and we kind of journey a little bit together. So that's one idea. And then my second thought was a weekly workout. And I've tried this in various guises. And again, after the discussion this morning, I mean, first prize, would we meet in person, every week for, 40 minutes, and we do somatic work together. But right now, that is quite difficult. So I'm proposing, even though I've tried lots of things, and I've been at the moment got the Body-Based Solutions Lab on a Tuesday lunchtime, but I'm proposing that from maybe the middle of May, I do a lunchtime session once a week. That's half an hour. That is a paid session, but it's very low cost. Obviously, would be included for any members. And the idea is that we build community. And let's say it starts at 1, it's half an hour somatic work, and then you can leave at any point. And then I stay on for 15 minutes, and we have some social Q&A or whatever it is. And that might be a stepping stone towards building community. And also, like actually Claire said this morning, we go to the physio and we get physio, and we don't even do our physio. So why would we do somatic work? And yet somatic work, it's free. It's usually easy. You don't have to get in your gym clothes. You can probably do it in, if you're doing the basic exercise, which you probably all know, that's 2 minutes in your day, and it can loosen your neck, take away a headache, take away your anxiety, and yet we still don't do it. But if every week there was a session that you attended as often as you could, it might help. So what I'm asking for you to you guys is, would you please email me and tell me your thoughts on that? Because I've tried things before and I haven't really had big take up, and I would love to know what you think. If you want to join the Facebook group, this is how you do it. You open Facebook, you find @bodykindness and you follow me. And then you go to groups and you search for the Happiness Revolution on my page and you join it. So it's all free, all easy. This will be available afterwards. Any questions on that? I can't actually see you all, so if you have a question, just speak out. So now is the tricky thing. So it was not a very happy day for me when it was the middle of February. Someone's put something in the chat. I can't actually see it all. Great, lovely. Thank you, Claire. It wasn't my happiest day when sort of all over my social media was this thing about the critique of the polyvagal theory. Now, most of you know that I have predominantly used the polyvagal theory as a base for my somatic coaching, and it's the kind of the underlying principle that I have referred to and used in the embodied course. And now Paul Grossman wrote this article with lots of other scientists criticizing the science behind the polyvagal theory. And to be completely honest, I have not actually read it. I'm not a scientist, and I found it a very dense. I couldn't actually get my head around. I don't understand enough, but I managed to distill the basic principles behind it. And essentially what he is saying is that the three emotional states that we have learnt about through the polyvagal theory, so the ventral vagal, our safe state, fight and flight, and the shutdown state. So those three states are still, they do exist, and they are emotional states. And I think we all know that to be true, even if we don't know the science, because we have all experienced them. So that's a relief and lovely for me and for you. So your drawings of your ladders that you did with me, they are not irrelevant because those states still exist. But what he is saying is that the scientific explanation for why these states exist is probably wrong, but isn't definitely wrong. So the three main things that he goes into are, one is all about heart rate variability, which was one of the foundational reasons why Stephen Porges, who developed the polyvagal theory, how he came to it really was through heart rate variability, particularly looking at babies. And essentially, Grossman and his other colleagues say that what Stephen Porges says cannot be very clearly proven. So that's one thing. The other thing he says is that the division in the vagus nerve, so we have learnt the ventral vagal, the sort of top half above the diaphragm, and the dorsal vagal, the bit below. He says that the vagus nerve doesn't divide as clearly as Stephen Porges implies. Now, it's interesting because Stephen Porges has never said definitively that it divides exactly like this. And we've always known that the vagus nerve is complex. It is not easy for anyone to work it out. But basically the criticism says it's too simplistic. But there is still this division in the three states. So there are still the three nervous system states. And the other thing, which is interesting, is that he criticizes the evolution part of the polyvagal theory, which I have never advocated because I'm not actually a big fan of evolution. So I just think it's quite interesting that now science is saying actually the evolution doesn't work either, which for me is quite reassuring. Does anyone have any questions about that before I tell you what I'm doing about it?
Can I, Sarah here, Perry.
Okay, hi.
No, I just was going to say that I had read about this, but I also read Stephen Porges has written his response. You might be about to talk about that, but he answered it very quickly, didn't he?
Yes, yes. So what I liked about Stephen Porges was he responded very quickly. But the criticism of his response, which is why I'm making changes, is that Stephen Porges' response was all based on his own science. So whereas Paul Grossman's criticism was taken from lots of other people's science, and Stephen Porges only referred to his own science. So it makes it quite hard to fully engage with that. Having said that, I still love Stephen Porges. I'm still a big fan of the polyvagal theory. I just don't think that I can advocate it publicly when I know there is so much criticism.
Can I just ask, Perry May, do you know anything about, was it in Nature magazine? and the journal.
The criticism.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just interested as to why they chose to attack the theory.
I can find that out. So it's been attacked before by Paul Grossman.
Okay.
But this is the first time when there were a whole lot of other scientists who joined in, who came and agreed with him. But I don't know. I didn't get into the discussion. But what I am going to do about it is I want to be confident that what I teach and the things I use have a scientific basis, even if I'm not a scientist, because that gives it integrity. Now, I think all of us know that the basic principles haven't changed at all. Because even before the polyvagal existed, we knew that our nervous system had these states that we move in between. And somatic exercises haven't changed. How we learn to calm our nervous system when it's dysregulated hasn't changed. So none of that's changed. Learning to speak the language of your body is still the same. So tuning into what's going on in our bodies is still the same. So lots hasn't changed, but what I am changing is I haven't quite finished it, but I've taken the embodied course, which is the main shape of the work of my work with individuals or groups. And I have removed the language of the polyvagal ladder, and I won't use that terminology going forward. And I've replaced it with another method of mapping your nervous system. It's actually not really any different. It's just a line as opposed to a ladder, and moving up and down the line. So it feels like I'm cheating the system. I'm not. I'm taking other people's science, taking the emotional states that we understand, and I'm using a different, it's called the your states of arousal as opposed to your nervous system states. And the ventral vagal state, the safe state that we want to live in, is more, when we're talking about the window of tolerance, which I talk about anyway in the embodied course. So it's the same thing. I'm just using different language and slightly different tools. So I just wanted you to know that. And I also, I really feel that for me to be able to teach with integrity, I need you to know this as well. So that's why I'm saying all this. Going forward, I've actually changed the embodied course quite a bit. I've made it 6 1-hour sessions, so it can be done in a lunch hour. And I haven't quite finished this either, but I've got to get it done by next week. I'm having a workbook so that you have something to work in. And again, that goes back to the principle of we know the exercises, we know the work, why don't we do it? And so I reckon if there's a workbook, something to refer back to, it would really help. Obviously, it's up to you if you do the workbook, if you do the work. And the other thing is for each group, I'm going to create a WhatsApp group. That's optional because, like those of you who are in the members, I can't see who's a member on tonight, but the members now have a WhatsApp group that is relatively new. And I think it's just quite useful if you've got a question like, oh, I can't remember how this works, or what does this mean? You can help each other. But obviously that involves you knowing each other's numbers if you're in the same group. And so there may be reasons why you wouldn't want to be part of it. It's not compulsory. But again, it's trying to bring the community element into the course. And I think that will also give it a more longevity of practice. So the group doesn't have to shut down at the end of the 6 weeks. So that is how I'm doing it. Any questions? Again, I can't see you all. So,
It's Jo here. I love the workbook idea.
oh, hi, Jo.
Hi, I love that idea. I think that's a really good idea.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Shakira, hi. Yeah, so some of this thinking has come out of, many of you know, I was involved with writing this Bible study for women. I know not all of you have faith, but last year I wrote this Bible study for women, and the thing that made it powerful was not the brilliant writing, but the fact that we were working on something together in a group. And that meant that you had to really do your work and you had to have accountability. And I saw how powerful that was to journey with a group, and then how much it impacted the study. So again, I feel that having the workbook, the content, and the community, that's the sort of hot sauce for really having long-term change. And ultimately, I'm trying to, we want to be in communities of people encouraging each other, but also that you don't need me. You know, that the whole point of this is these are things you can do without me. But I think having community, getting together does really help. So I'm going to do a little sales pitch, because if you want to redo the course or do it, I am offering, for those who've done it before, super discounted price of 100. If you are a new client, it's 147. It's gone up from how it was. But I'm also, because I think the membership is working, even though I don't have lots of you who are members, I think it is working. I think there is the beginning of journeying together. There is an element of community. I am reducing the price for 24 hours. So until, let's say, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, I've reduced the prices, and that will be the reduced price forever. So if you join in the next 24 hours, it won't go up for you ever again. If you have joined and you want these prices, cancel your membership and just rejoin, and you will get those prices. So everyone is a winner, sort of. And the membership, I mean, is there anyone who's a member who wants to say something about it? Does anyone want to say anything? Not compulsory.
I can say something. I can't actually see myself, so I don't know if you can see me. I think I found it really helpful to have the ongoing involvement, because it's something that, as you say, we want to be building these habits into our everyday lives. And I think for me, when I did the course, I felt I hadn't completely taken it on board. So I found it helpful to have the ongoing contact and the website to look at. And just looking at the website is inspiring and encouraging. So that's been great. And obviously the monthly sessions as well.
Oh, thank you. So what I'll do is, because I don't want to spend hours on selling to you, thank you so much, Kate. What I'll do is, at the end, if anyone is interested, I can show it to you when those who are done can hop off. But I can show you what it contains. Basically, it's recordings and things that you can look at any time. And then there are live sessions, at least one a month. And at the moment, there is more available. And if you sign up for a minimum of 4 months, you get the embodied course once a year anyway. And I think for me, every time I do it, I'm adding more, learning more. So it does help to do it more than once, because you then like, actually now I see why that works, and it all interlinks. But it isn't a hard sell. It's just that I thought, I'm not very good at selling. I need to actually make sure I do say it. So that's there.
Can I say something?
Sure,
Can I just ask?
Angie.
Yes, am a member, but it's been a very confusing time, so we're just trying to get our heads around it. So all the recorded sessions and things that you can get hold of, they're all on this. I'm looking at it on my phone on the web page, are they?
Yes, I will show you at the end, Angie.
Okay, great.
At the end, when we've done all that fun and interesting things, I will show you how to get it and what's there. Okay, I'll do it live on here.
Okay.
But essentially, I've tried to create the membership so that you get way more for your money. So even doing, if you do the gold membership, it's cheaper now for 24 hours, but a one-to-one is normally £90, and you'd get a one-to-one every month for £75 plus all the other stuff. So the idea is you are getting a really good deal, but also I'm getting a regular income, which is what I need. So everyone's a winner, I hope. I'll show you that at the end. Just also other things that are going on this month. So the embodied course starts next week. I'm doing a lunchtime on Tuesdays and evening on Wednesdays, 1 hour rather than an hour and a half. And then I've been doing these body-based solutions labs, trying to see if people can do a lunch hour. And I've got 3 more coming up. Again, next week's fascia, and they're all on there. I'll send them to you. Would really value you telling your friends. You know, I'm finding it that my business isn't growing. I get amazing testimonies, but I'm not growing, and I would really like it to grow. So I'd value you to share my posts. If you've got a testimony, send it to me, video it, write it down. That would really help. So let's get into the fun part of this evening. So, I don't know if you've listened to or read much about how your brain works with prediction and how it's constantly guessing what's next. So we're going to do a tiny little mini experiment. I am going to go woof. So I barked, okay. And when you hear a bark, what your brain does is it does 3 things. It guesses. So if you hadn't known or seen me and you heard a bark, your brain would have gone, oh, is there a dog about to come in? Or is there a dog? So you would have heard a bark. Your brain would have gone, is there a dog? Then what your brain does, obviously this is all in very few seconds. Then it checks, was that actually a dog? And in this case, your brain goes, no, it wasn't a dog. That was Perry woofing like this. So your brain guesses, then it checks, was it actually a dog? Yes or no. And then it fixes the guess. So it does a brain update. So as you go through life, your brain is constantly learning things so that it doesn't have to work to remember things. It's just linking to old things all the time. I'm not sure I'm explaining it very well, but if you want to listen to a great talk, I put it on here. Lisa Feldman Barrett did a TED talk, it was about 10 years ago, on how your brain predicts things. And I want to talk about this in the context of safety, because I'll get to you in a moment, Jackie. So if your brain is working on predictions all the time, it is working hard if you are constantly in new and busy environments. But if you have rhythm and you have things that are calming and feel familiar and comfortable around you, your brain doesn't have to work so hard and you can feel safe. So before I answer some questions, I want to show you a photo of a wall. So I want you to look at this photo and you see this brick wall. You can see there's like a stone stuck in it. So can everyone see a brick wall? Now, if I told you that there's a cigar sticking out the wall, can you see that cigar? It's kind of the grey pebble is actually the end of a cigar. So there's this, can you see my arrow? That's a cigar and that's the burning bit. Thumbs up if you can see it. Okay. So in that instant, I told you what you were going to see. So you didn't look for anything because your brain was like, oh, I'm just going to see a brick wall. And then as soon as I told you there was a cigar there, you can't but see it. You can only see the cigar. Okay, so your brain looked at the wall because it knew it was a wall, it was familiar. And then it goes, oh gosh, there's something else there. And it's linking back to its memory of a cigar. And now all you can really see is the cigar sticking out the wall. So the next picture I'm going to show you is also really interesting. So, and you may have seen this image before. So as you look at this image, what your brain is doing is it's trying to work out what it is. What is it a butterfly? Is it a face? Is it a clown? What it's trying to link it to something you know. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the next picture, which is the full version of this. Okay. So now you can see what it is. And now if I go back to that, you can see the snake, can't you?
No.
So you can't see the snake there?
No.
Okay, let's see. So there it is. So if you look at that for a moment, can you not see the snake? Like the head and where it curled round. Interesting.
Not really.
Can anyone else see it? Okay. But the thing is, when you see the black and white picture, you can't find, your brain is trying to work out what it is. And then usually when you see this and then go back to the original picture, you can see the snake. Just going to stop sharing and let's just talk about this. Who can see the snake once you go back? Okay. Okay, who can't see it? Oh, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. Wow. Those who can see it, do you want to tell me how, when you saw it, were you like, oh yeah, I can see it now?
I think it helps seeing the face that I was looking at because that was most identifiable. It's a bit harder to see the rest of the shape, but that's quite clear.
Yes.
I think if you can't see it, the harder you try, the worse it gets.
Thank you, Jackie. Any other comments?
I think for the same for me. Once it went back from the yellow to black and white, I could just see where it was quite easily.
Could. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a could.
Okay. And what about the cigar? When I told you it was a brick wall, did you just see a brick wall?
I saw a stone. I thought it was a stone.
Yeah, and the stone.
Yeah.
I thought it was a
Yeah,
snail.
I thought it was a stone.
Yeah, or a snail.
I thought it was a
yeah.
snail straight away.
And then
That's
when
what
I
it
said, can you see the cigar? Could you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so interesting. So I didn't know this would happen because I was sure you'd all be able to see what I see. Yeah, I'm wrong. Those of you who found it hard to see the snake, the black and white snake, after seeing the full image, are you a visually stimulated person? Are you visually stimulated?
Yeah.
Oh, Jules. So So Sarah, you would say you're normally a visually stimulated person.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, sorry.
No, well, I didn't know what you mean by that, but I'm not very observant. I can walk into someone's house, if they've got new curtains, I wouldn't notice. So maybe not. I mean, I'm just not very observant, which is quite useful, really, sometimes. But I could not see that snake. I could just about see the face when you said it, when I looked about the third time, but then it all kind of went into and I didn't really see the cigar ever. I saw a stone.
Wow. Any other comments? Because I'm going to show you those pictures again. I'm going to try and show you with an arrow to show you. Any other comments? So let's just have another look at the wall. So if I put my arrow, can you see my arrow? So
oh, I can now.
Is the cigar.
Yes.
Burning end.
Oh, yes. I didn't see that, the long bit of the cigar.
Yeah. So the cigar
now.
is wedged into the wall. Once you can see it, you can't help seeing it.
Yeah.
I've only just seen it now as well. Now I'm on my phone screen rather than my crazy laptop screen.
Sorry, Jules.
I was seeing it. I was seeing it
Sarah. I don't think it's just the way your eyes look at it.
Yeah, I didn't see the brown bit.
Okay.
Yeah, same. I'm exactly the same. I just saw the little tippy bit.
Yeah.
But I now see the brown bit.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
Same here.
Oh
fascinating.
Dear.
Oh, what be useless?
No, not useless.
It's just the brain, isn't it? The different brain.
Interesting that our brains are all so different. And you know, that's good and fun. So let's just try the black and white one one more time. Okay, so that's the black and white image, and your brain is trying to work out what it is, even though you do know it's a snake now. Now I want you to look at the snake's face. Okay, and now I'm going to go back. Can you see the snake's face?
A little bit more.
So that's the sort of head there.
Yeah, I can see the snake's face, but it's difficult. I can't see the rest really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bad example by me, even though I did test it on a few others, and Lisa Feltman Barrett uses it in her TED talk. So, you know, I'm standing on quite good ground because she's a very good scientist, very interesting scientist. So the reason why this is an interesting thing for us in our journey towards safety is if we go back to, let's go back to the original conversation. So look at the image. When you do something new and different, so let's say you're going to a meeting with people you don't know and you are feeling a bit anxious. So you walk into the room and your brain, as you walk into the space that you're going to an interview, you walk into the room, your brain doesn't look around the room and know exactly what everything is, but your brain looks at things and tries to link it with stuff it already knows. So you might look at the person who's going to interview you and say, oh, he looks like, you know, my great uncle who was a lovely man. It's going to be a great interview, because the guess is because he looks like or smells like or behaves like someone you know, the guess is this is going to go well. Or even you look at the space and you're like, okay, that is a office table like the one in the place I used to work. And your brain makes a guess, then it quickly decides, am I right or wrong? And then it adjusts what you're thinking. And the reason this is helpful for us in somatic work is that if we can reduce the number of decisions and guesswork that our brain has to make in a day, it helps our brain to not have to work so hard. So you're kind of like, woof, is that a real dog? No. Why is Perry barking? That's a bit weird. And then I woof again and you almost ignore it because your brain now knows it's just Perry barking. That's what she does on a Zoom call, woof. But Steve Jobs is a great example of this. So obviously he's moved on, but he wore the same clothes every single day because it meant he didn't have to think about it. He didn't have to decide. His brain didn't have to wake up in the morning, look at the wardrobe and think, should I wear the black shirt or should I wear the black shirt? Or should I wear the black shirt or the blue shirt, whatever it is. He knew what he liked and he just wore that every day. He removed that piece of decision making from his brain so that he had space for creativity. And so that also made him feel safe. This is who I am. This is my identity. And with some of the somatic exercises, so like rocking, when you rock, the first time you move to the left or the right, your brain goes, oh, is she going to get up? Is she getting up? No, she's not getting up. Oh, she's moving to the other side. The next time, oh, is she actually going that way? Oh, no, she's rocking. Your brain's trying to decide what's going on. And then you get into a little bit of rhythm and your brain goes, oh, she's just rocking. So it doesn't have to think. It knows what's coming next. And it's like, oh, this is a nice feeling. This is good. And you've given it a rhythm and that it can predict. And the predictability, the ease of prediction makes your brain feel safe and calm. So if you're rocking and you're gently patting your shoulder, you do this is why you have to do some of the exercises for a little while so that your brain can kind of rest into it. You do this for a while, your brain relaxes and you feel more calm. That's also why creating a routine for a toddler, a sleep routine, works, and it works for us as well. If you're struggling with sleep and you create a sleep pattern that you do every night before you go to bed, you're taking out the prediction. If you do something different every night, your brain's going, okay, so we're cleaning our teeth now, and then we're watching TV, and then we're going for a late night run, and then we're doing whatever. Your brain doesn't know when it's time to go to sleep. But if you create a repeated pattern, let's say the last half hour before you go to sleep, you do the same thing every night. You might have a bath, you might listen to a comedy on the radio, you might listen to calming music or an audiobook or read. Then you clean your teeth, go to the loo. You might do a somatic exercise, a body scan or a stretch. If you do the same thing every night, after a while, your brain doesn't have to worry about predicting and it can calm down and it doesn't have to go, oh, what's happening next? Woof, was there a dog? But it can go, okay, I know that the next thing is the light's going to go out and I can go to sleep. And so repeating somatic patterns in your day, repetition, helps you with feeling safe because your brain doesn't have to work so hard to find the safety. When you walk into that room for an interview, your brain's trying to find something to feel safe with so that you can sit down. It's linking. Okay, that's like this, that's like that. And it's doing that. Guess, was I right? Yes, I was right. Guess, was I right? No, I was wrong. And fixing the pattern all the time. And so when you get routine, your brain doesn't have to fix the patterns. You can calm down, your body feels calmer, your brain feels clearer. And it's a really good thing to do. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and just see if there are any questions. And I haven't actually seen what the chat was. Any questions, thoughts, comments, observations? Very quiet bunch.
I thought you were very clear when you started.
Hang on, wait. So, June, do you want to speak first?
I don't mind. Yes, I can. I was going to say, so on the opposite, without going into too much detail, my husband's critically ill in hospital. So when I go in to see him, the predictions are not, there's nothing really very safe about that. So some of the predictions that I think I'm getting is from previous experiences, which were negative. So I've tried to do a few of the breaths and things, but it's really difficult. I don't know if you've got any. It's like almost to feel calm in that situation is virtually impossible, but I guess there might be a way. It's over the last few days I've got, as you go a bit more often, but even then you don't know what you're going to find. So that's a particularly difficult one for me.
So can I come back to that, June? Because I think that's a very specific and quite an extreme situation that you're in. But I will definitely come back to that, because I think if we first go for how do we do this in our everyday, because if you can find some somatic rhythm in your day, so that every morning you're going to stretch for 5 minutes when you wake up, whatever it is, what you're doing is you're helping your nervous system have hooks to hang on to throughout the day, so that it knows roughly at, I don't know, 6:30 or 7 when you wake up, you're going to do some stretching. Then at 11, when you have a cup of tea or a glass of water or whatever it is, you're going to stop for 2, 5, 10 minutes, whatever you can do. You're going to notice the glass, feel it, have a sip. Basically, you're going to bring your nervous system down to a calm state at that time every day. You're beginning to create a rhythm in your day. And by creating rhythm in your day, somatic rhythm, times of calm in your day, it gives you the ability to cope with the harder things. And
the extreme thing, Okay.
Any other comments before we move on, or questions? Angie?
Yeah, it's interesting because I would say that I'm not a very routine person, and I never have been. And I watch people who naturally, in my work life, I worked with somebody who she walked in and every single day she did exactly the same things. Over my life, I tended to think, well, yeah, obviously you have to get into routines to cope, to do the kids and whatever. But one day a week, I just have to let it go, because otherwise I just can't function. So I'm just thinking quite interestedly about that, because it is something that
It's interesting.
I've got a few. Now I'm older, there are one or two things I tend to do, but things like meal times and I don't know. Yeah, I've just always known that my husband is much more routine than me. I can set the clock by him. I might be able to do it for a few days, and then I just don't. So, and I've always thought it was because I was a bit creative, so my head starts sparking off. And as for wearing the same clothes every day, I have to think, what do I feel like wearing today?
So I love it. I love it that you're like that. And Joe's the same. Very good. I am not, let me clarify, I'm not talking about a daily routine of how you live. I'm talking about finding some points in your day where your nervous system knows I'm allowed to calm down because it's familiar. Okay, so you can wear what you like. That's not, you might get joy from wearing something different every day, and that's where your creativity comes in. For Steve Jobs, actually, for me, I actually have a very small wardrobe because I find that another decision, quite hard for me. So you have to pick what's right for you. But if you are struggling with anxiety or stress, it is highly likely that your brain is making so many decisions all day. It's guessing, are we going to do this? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And if you can find 4 points in your day where you can give your brain a moment to go, that will make a difference. Esty, you had a question.
No, I was just wondering if if it's maybe
Oh, she's gone.
Sorry, I was trying to lower my hand and then I did the wrong thing. Something that I wonder if it's sort of maybe what you mean, which I think it may be, is, for example, I've tried to create the silly little things to remind myself to do the somatic exercises, and I'm better when I'm home than at work with it. But I mean, depending on what happened to me and stuff, I don't necessarily bath every day because it takes more time. But when I'm laying in the bath, I've got this spot on the bathroom tiles where I'll lie in the bath and I'll breathe in and do my second shorter breath. I know, where the blind goes there. The blind rail is there. I'll breathe in and stop and do my second with the tiles I'll hold and that. And the same when I go to the toilet at home. I'm on the toilet and then I'll try and remember in the toilet just to have that breathing space and do my breathing exercises. And I try at night when I've done my devotional to do the body scan. And sometimes I fall asleep before I've done it. But I suppose that sort of is that sort of way is to try and remind myself to do it, because if you find you move in from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing and you've not done it, so I find for me it's like, for example, also when I'm at work now, I try and don't walk to the closest toilet. I try and walk to a further toilet
Never.
in
That's
the
not.
office, and then as you walk there's a space where you look out over this street and a roundabout, and I try to purposefully remember to look up and look out. I don't always remember, and then I'll get to my desk and then think, oh, I forgot to do that. But I try and do that because that it's a movement break, but also that I don't just look down
Stretching your eyes and
my eyes.
So I think that is a genius solution. Just tell yourself that you can't go to the nearest loo every time. And that is a really, really good one. So clever, very smart. But I'm assuming we're all on here because we have various levels of anxiety or stress levels in our day. And the only way we can solve it is if we pay attention to it. And the best way to do that is to have rhythm. So for those who've just done the last embodied course, so Shakira and maybe SD, you might have done it, I included this picture of a clock, and that I've sent you now, I'll share it with you. And for long-term, where is it? For long-term wellness, you have to stop yourself spiraling in your stress cycle at least 4 times a day, definitely before you go to sleep, and I would say definitely before you eat, because if you are eating when you're in your stress state, your digestive system, there's lots of reasons why you wouldn't feel well and why you wouldn't cope well with life if you are on drive forward all day. And it's fine if you can, it's fine to have a few days where you just can calm down at the end of the day, but that's not fine for everyday living. If you're waking up and just go all day, and then you bring yourself into your sort of calm state at the end of the day, formerly known as your ventral vagal state, if you only come back to that once a day, you're not actually building your resilience. You're not actually helping your nervous system remember what it feels like to calm down. And I would say probably most of us our bodies have forgotten how to calm down, and so we have to train them. And so the creating a daily rhythm for long-term regulation is a really helpful little tool. Now, some people, I've got a great client who I've been working with one-to-one, and I gave her this and I was like, kind of brilliant, we're going to end with this. She's like, oh, and I find that very unhelpful. So if you find it unhelpful, just screw it up and throw it away. You don't have to do it. But I'm quite visual, and for me, I found having a clock and deciding, right, I'm going to get up most days around 6, and I'm going to go outside and do some movement for a minimum of 10 minutes. And if I do that every day now, most days, and I wake up and my body wants to get up and go outside, and it feels good, and I wake up feeling like I want to wake up. Not every day, I have bad days. And, if you're going through something like June, where you've had, another trauma thrown in on an already stressful life, you have to have other ways to solve it. But in general, what we are trying to do is find moments of calm in every day, because if we can grab hold of that anxiety before it grabs hold of us, you see, nothing has changed. We can grab hold of that anxiety, help our body calm down, we will then have better capacity for lots of other things. So with that in mind, before we chat again, I want you to just grab a clock or draw a clock on a scrap of paper. And I want you to think of 4 points in your day. Now, waking up and going to bed are already 2 of them that you could have. And whether you're at work or at home, there are probably 2 other things that you do. I think Estie's toilet break, genius. So you could put on there, every toilet break, whether I'm at home or in the office, I'm going to walk past a window. So you're not actually changing what you do, but you're just creating a space where you can stretch your eyes, take a breath, notice, do a bit more movement. You could decide, I'm not going to use the downstairs loo. I'm always going to go to the upstairs loo. Get some movement. As you go up the stairs, you could decide, I'm going to just shake my hands. Any of the exercises that we've done that have worked for you in the past, put them in. But to start with, I really suggest you only put 4 in, because what you want to do is put 4 things in that you know you can do. You want to put, where it says, how likely is it that I will do this? I want you to put at least an 8 or a 9 or a 10. So don't make them hard. Don't say, I'm going to do, a 2-hour somatic workout every morning, because you're not going to do it. Make them 2-minute things. So I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have a moment where I deliberately stretch. That could be one of them. But what you're doing when you do that little moment is you're allowing yourself to just notice what's going on in your body, calm down, maybe take a breath, whatever it is. Do the psychological sigh, shake off the adrenaline, whatever it is you decide. I want you to find 4 points that you could do even on an unusual day. I think I sent you a printout with some examples. And obviously there were way more than 4 on that. Trying to think of some other good things that you could do. So you could decide, before you eat every meal, or before you eat anything, you could just do the psychological sigh once. Or you could, if you've had ongoing gut issues, then you would want to make your exercises, your calming happen around meal times. The other quite good one is the tummy tapping, if that's worked for you, where you just do this. Obviously, you can't do this if you're in a restaurant. You can't probably do it in a work canteen, but you probably could do it before your evening meal at home. You could just do this for a few minutes. I find the rocking really makes a difference to me. My body responds really well to rocking. So for a long time, I don't actually do it anymore. Whenever I boiled the kettle, I would just stand and rock. Because before, I'd boil the kettle and do 50 things while the kettle's boiling. And it's probably a minute. It's not very long. And if you can give yourself that kettle to just calm yourself down, as we've said before, it feels like you're wasting time. I've got 50 things to do, and the kettle's, I could do them while the kettle's boiling. But if you allow yourself to calm down for that minute, or even if it's 2 minutes, you will find that you can then do the other things more efficiently. Your brain is clear and you can cope better. You're widening your window of tolerance. You're increasing your ability to cope with the stressful things. How have people got on with doing that little exercise? I put the little tracker sheet, I sent the tracker sheet as well, not because you all have to do it, but I quite like to tick things. I'm quite good at ticking things off. I can see my plan. My plan is to do these 4 things and then tick off what I've done. But you'll notice on the sheet, I put different colors. So I would suggest that you only do 4 things for the first week or the first 30 days even. So you're actually building a rhythm into your day. And then if you want to, you can then add more. But you don't want to have 12 new things to try tomorrow. That's too much. But unless when you're doing the kettle, you're going to rock, stroke, and sigh. And that would be one somatic thing happening while you're doing the kettle. So you could put all 3 of those in there. But obviously, it's up to you. You do not have to do any of those. Any thoughts on that? Any comments? The idea is you're finding rhythm in your day, spaces where your brain doesn't have to do all that guesswork. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? What's going on in my world? Have I got this guess right? You're giving it an opportunity to just go, this is the moment when I boil the kettle, I breathe, rock, stroke, whatever you want to do, come back to myself, and then I crack on with my day. And what you will find is if you give your brain like those brain breaks in your day, your body a break, your brain a break, your ability to cope with other things increases.
Mary, I think I'm going to find that really helpful going forwards. I think for me, I've been, I always do a body scan first thing in the morning, and sometimes maybe just some soothing exercises at night. But it's been more a case of, particularly in this season, just actually responding when the stress is there. And so doing exercises to help mitigate that, really. And I'm quite hopeful going forwards that actually this is going to be really helpful. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. Yeah.
I always find you very clear, Perry May. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Oh,
you're very clear, always.
Thank you. What I suggest we do now, because obviously that's really homework, but I really want to stress that you create your 4 things that you are definitely going to do. So they've got to be really easy. So you don't want to have, right, I'm going to do, I'm going to shake for this length of time. I'm going to dance to 10 songs. I'm going to, because you want to achieve it. And first prize is pick 4 things, do it for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, tweak it, see how you feel, reassess. You might find after the first week, you think, actually, this isn't working. Then of course change it. But because you're going after rhythm, because you're going after long-term change, not, an overnight change, doing it for a longer period of time is what will make the difference. Ultimately, I think, is it 64 days to make a habit? I'm not very good at making habits, but I find having a tracker and having a visual image of what I'm going to do really, really helps. Any other questions on that? Because what I'm going to suggest I do is we do a little final somatic have a final somatic moment together, calming moment. Then I'll stop recording, and then we can answer June's question and any other questions you might have. Is that good?
Eric, could I just ask, are you sending us a copy of tonight's deck? Because I don't think I've got that particular exercise in my previous stuff.
I am going to put this video on my website. I think I sent you that circle.
Did you? Okay, I can't quite. I was just looking for my actual notes from my original session. Fine. Okay, it's just
course, you wouldn't have had it.
No. So just that slide is what I'm saying. Is it rather than having the whole video? Is it possible just to get that slide
Yes.
sent to us so we can activate it?
Yes.
I'm better with something out of a computer screen rather than in the computer screen.
I'll
just print it off.
sent it to you as a print out.
Yeah, brilliant. That's all I mean, just so I can print it out. Because otherwise, with my ADHD, I come to your computer and then I've gone somewhere else instead of focusing on my somatics.
Very good.
Thank you.
Right, we are going to end with the formal part of tonight's proceedings with a little moment of soothing. I think I might have shown this to you before. So I'm going to push play in a minute, but what I want you to do is I want you to, if you can, turn your volume up. I'm going to stop talking, and I want you to watch this fire burning. And if you like the feeling of rocking, I want you to rock. If you are feeling still quite disconnected, one of the things you can do is, let me move this back a bit, is you could put one hand on your chest and one hand on your forehead and just allow yourself to feel physically connected, your head and your body. If you like the feeling, you could rock. Or you could gently stroke your shoulder. But we're going to watch the fire burn together. And it's just for, I think it's like a minute. We're going to keep watching it. And just allow our nervous system to calm down. Because this is really what we want to do 4 times a day. Is just allow ourselves to calm down. And this is just the video of my actual fire in my living room. Push it again. Really take a deep breath in. A really long out breath. And just take note of what's going on in your body. Is there any place that feels tense and tight? Are there any muscles that are still switched on from a stressful day? Sometimes when I'm lying in bed and I'm like thinking, why aren't I asleep? And then I realise my muscles are just switched on. Just relax your muscles, just let them soften. Maybe take another deep breath in. Hopefully, as you tune in, you are feeling calm, good, alive and well. Stop the recording.